All right, AP Stats. Today we're going to look at Venn diagrams as a way to calculate some probabilities. It's just a way to organize the data for you. Hopefully you're familiar with Venn diagrams. Each circle has its own group of values or information or whatever, and then where they overlap, that is the overlap of information. So here we have a statistics textbook. 48% of pages had some kind of data display. 27% had an equation, and 7% had both. And then we want some probabilities. So 48%, if we look at this giant circle, the entire circle is 48%. But if I label this 48, that is only pertaining to this part. Okay? And that's not 48. So what we want to do here is we want to figure out the both first, if you can. So this is 7% both. And since the entire circle is 48%, then this portion of the circle will be 48 minus 7, which will be 41%. Okay, and then we're going to label this as data. 41% has data only, 7% has data and equations. So over here we're going to label this as equations. And we have 27% have an equation. So this entire circle is 27%. The overlapping part is 7, so this other part here is 27 minus 7, which is 20% equations. So part A, notice A, B, and C might be a little bit different than what's on your PowerPoint. I added this one at the end, so if you can make those adjustments, that would be super. So what is the probability that a randomly selected page had neither data nor an equation? So that's not the circles. So what falls outside the circles? Well, first we'll figure out what falls inside the circles. So 20% is equations only, 7% is both, 41% is data only, for a total of 68%. So the circles consist of 68% total without any overlapping. So outside that is 100% minus 68%, which is 32% falls outside here. And a lot of times we'll just write that out to the side. 32% falls outside. So what is the probability a randomly selected page had data but no equation? That's the outside part of this circle. Data but no equation would be 41%. By creating the Venn diagram, we already found that, and so all we have to do is just label it, 41%. An equation or data. Part C says an equation or data. And sometimes people get confused here of does that include both? And yes, it does. For example, if I asked, if this page had both things on it, and I said, is there an equation on this page? You would say yes. Is there data on this page? You would say yes. Okay, so unless it says but not both, you assume that can be also both. So this is going to be the circle's total in equation or data, which is going to be that 20 plus 7 plus 41, which is 68%. Okay, the next slide is an example of all of these, and so I want you to go ahead and do these, draw a couple draw a Venn diagram. Make sure you look up what a complement is if you don't know what that little C means, and we'll go over this in class tomorrow.